So I just got back from the gym and I thought I'd give you a quick update on the book that I brought along with me, which is the Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. I had heard about this book by a couple of different booktubers, Beautifully Bookish Bethany, as well as Lauren from Lauren and the Books, and wasn't really keen on reading it. It's not something that I would typically pick up, but in seeing both of them talk about it, and then oddly enough, I found it in my library's children's section. So when I had heard about it by those two booktubers, I didn't get the impression that it was a children's book. And when I say children's book, I mean anywhere from a, picture book to middle grade book. I didn't think it was a middle grade book. So that intrigued me more, seeing it in the children's section at the library. So I saw it there, I picked it up and thought I'd start reading it. So I took it with me to the gym this morning. If you're following me, you know that one of my goals this year is to lead a more healthy life, especially with my upcoming wedding. I want to get a little more healthy before I fit into that dress. So I did go to the gym for a little while. I brought this book with me and started reading, and I am about 2 chapters in. And in the first 2 chapters, you meet the character who is called Guinevere. And you find out within those first 2 chapters, really in the first couple pages, that she is not the real Guinevere. So we don't know her name. We don't know where she's come from. Within the first 2 chapters, you do know that she has some kind of relationship with Merlin, who has been banished from Camelot. So we find Guinevere kind of in her travels to Camelot. She's being escorted by a few knights, as well as what I would assume is like a lady's maid. And at the end of the second chapter, it's right after the wedding of her and Arthur, and they're going into their chambers, and we get the impression, I wouldn't say impression, Arthur straight out says, "Who are you really?" So as we continue to read, we'll see if she's able to decept him further or if he becomes part of the plot. So right now, all we know is that Guinevere isn't who she says she is, and she's there for some kind of purpose, sent by Merlin himself. So that's where I'm at so far. Okay, officially on to chapter 5 in the Guinevere Deception. I'm liking it so far. I still am not convinced that this is a children's book. And as you recall, I had mentioned that because it was in the children's section of my library. I feel like this is more young adult. Some of the stuff that's happening so far, like I said, Guinevere and Arthur just went through their wedding ceremony, and they go into the bed chambers where it is expected that they consummate their marriage. So to me, that's not a children's book, even if it doesn't happen or it's only being alluded to. To me, that's not anything that should be listed less than a young adult novel. But anyways, that's a rant for later. So I'm up to chapter 5, and in the last section, we had just realized that Arthur knows that she is not, or suspects that she is not who she says she is. Well, once you start reading into the next chapter, you realize that yes, he is in on it as well. So you learn that she has been sent there by Merlin, and Arthur knows about it. So I like that. I like that aspect, because I was really hoping that it wasn't going to be a deception against King Arthur, because I feel like King Arthur is one of the most, honest, honorable, fictional characters. So that would have hurt me a little bit. But so far, so good. This character is interesting. There is an element that frightens her, which is touching water. She is very frightened of water. She won't even touch it. She won't bathe in it, nothing like that. And there was one piece in the very first chapter where she explains something, a memory of being encased in water, and it immediately made me think about when you see like those laboratories and whatnot on TV where there's like creatures in those containers, those test tubes or whatever, and they're just like stuck forever in like that jellied water. For some reason that sprang up in my head, and I don't know why, but so that's a really interesting element. So I'd like to learn more about that and find out what the true meaning of that is, and obviously we will as we finish the book. But I'm about to chapter 5. I'm going to take a break. I do have the Packer game starting soon, which I don't watch the Packers. I am a Packer fan, I guess you could say, in the sense that I live in Wisconsin and you would be no other fan other than a Packer fan, but they have just made it to the playoffs, so I should probably take a moment to watch a bit of the game so that I have something to talk about at work on Monday. So anywho, that's where I am right now. Today has been quite a busy day. I just ended up finishing filming, editing, and uploading a video in my reorganizing kind of stream there. So it was my second shelf here, which I have done here, which was actually longer than the first video, which was a stinker, but at least it's done. We got this all organized here, but I wanted to take a moment and let you guys know what is going on in the Guinevere deception. So I'm up to chapter 10 now. I've been reading this today. I took a break this week. I was actually reading Beartown, which is a book that I'm reading for my book club. It's also on my TBR, and then I took some time to read the Graveyard book as well. And I'm only a couple pages in. I think I'm like 30 pages in on that, but it's quite good. But anyway, this book is really getting interesting. So what we last left off on is that we know that Arthur is aware that this Guinevere is a part of a kind of quest to protect him from some kind of magical entity that Merlin has sent this, I guess, magical person who we don't know her real name to protect him. And in the chapters that I've just read, it almost seems as if this Guinevere doesn't know much of herself. There are a lot of pockets of her memory where she'll start to remember something, but then the end or pieces of it will be removed. She also doesn't have a lot of thoughts or memories that would include like a natural upbringing. So she sees children and their teeth missing, and she doesn't know that they're baby teeth, so they'll grow back. She also isn't aware of like womanly things like how babies are made or that special time of the month that we all so much enjoy. So that was really interesting. And we also, before each chapter, there's this little italicized piece which comes to me. It seems to me to be like thoughts, and it's seemingly the thoughts of the Dark Queen, which is who had been defeated prior, and the reason why magic has been banished from Camelot. And the thoughts that she is getting are very interesting because it is almost foreshadowing some kind of interwovenness with this Guinevere character. So it's getting very interesting. I still don't believe that this is like a middle grade book. I really do feel like this is more young adult. There are some curse words in here, and but again, I might just be over overprotective, but whatever. So far so good. Like I said, I'm at about chapter 10, so that's about page 124. I'm actually gonna do some things now. I'm gonna take a pause and kind of take a shower and get out of my pajamas. It's like the middle of the day and I've been working on my video all day, so I wanna kind of take a moment, and then I'm going to come back to this. I'm really hoping that I actually finish this weekend, because I do want to get to the other books that I have on my TBR, so I'll probably come back and do a short review of what I have read. I'm hoping to really get like the bulk of this done today, so we'll see what happens. So this weekend we had a huge snowfall, and I wanted to show you my backyard real quick so that you could see just how much snow we had. Now, it snowed pretty much from Friday into Saturday, and today is Sunday, so I'll give you a quick pic. And don't mind my crazy windows here, but if you can see out there, there's a lot of snow all over the trees. This is my like little balcony full of snow, and then our backyard full of snow. So yeah, but anywho, wanted to give you an update on the Guinevere deception. So I was attempting some kind of blog on that this weekend, and I'm not really good at vlogs, obviously, from what you can tell, but I did finish the book and I quite liked it. I would give it probably a 4 on the Goodreads scale, and reason being, I really enjoyed the fact that the writer, Kiersten White, she really integrated a lot of British literature characters that I don't recall being part of King Arthur's court. However, she did put them in, for instance, like there's Sir Gawain in there, there's the Green Knight is in there, if you're familiar with the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. There's Sir Tristan, from Tristan and Isolde. Isolde is referenced, oh my god, if I could frickin' speak, but she's not in the story physically, she's just referenced. And then there's also, who am I missing? I'm missing somebody, but so they're in there, and it's kind of nice because by having all those characters in there, she's really giving you a good idea of her scope of knowledge, and seeing as this is a kid's book, which I still don't agree with. It is a children's book, I guess, like a middle grade book. It is in the children's section. That's where I got it at my library. Don't agree with that. I think some of the themes, or some of the, she's talking about her like menstrual cycle and, womanly duties like having sex with your husband and all that. And maybe I'm just being an overprotective parent, but I just don't think that is appropriate for middle grade. Some middle grade don't even have their menstrual cycles at that time, so I don't know. I don't agree with it being in the children's section, but that's just me. I might just, like I said, be a little overprotective, but I do think it's more of a young adult. I did like the storyline, so from last time, so I basically finished it, obviously, and we have a little bit, I wouldn't say a battle, I would say a climaxed assault. Whoa, those two words put together probably aren't, not talking about sex. More of like the climax of the book is at the very end, and I wouldn't call it a battle. It was more of just, a little skirmish. There we go. It was a climaxed skirmish. But characters are revealed, and it really ends. It kind of ends with a beginning. So it doesn't end and everything's resolved. It actually ends with the beginning of the next stage of this deception, or this next stage of, how are they going to defeat the villain, essentially. So I thought it was good. I definitely will read the next, I think it's going to be a trilogy. I'll definitely read those, but I'm not going to like seek them out. They're not a story. They're not a book that I'm going to go to Walmart in the middle of the night and wait for them to let me buy them like I would like Harry Potter or when I read Twilight. Nothing like that, but definitely will read them when they come out and available at my library. And who knows, my library likes to put some of their books in the children's section, and then all of a sudden some of them are in the YA section. So maybe the next one will be in the YA. But regardless, I think I'm rambling a little bit, but just wanted to let you know that I finished that and I thought it was pretty good. I'll talk about it again in my wrap-up video. This was my attempt of a vlog. Basically just read and did my stuff, and maybe it'll be a better chance next time. But until next time, guys, happy reading. If you have not yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm getting close to my goal. I'm almost to 60 subscribers, so that's awesome. I want to get to 100 by the end of the year. I really think I can do it, and if I get any more than that, I'll be super psyched. But comment below if you have read the Guinevere Deception and what you thought of it, and if you are looking forward to any of the next ones. So like I said, until next time, guys, happy reading. Bye!